Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Janice Boyd, and today is such a very special day because we are relaunching our very first episode of Women with Beauty and Brains, and I have the honor to introduce an amazing guest. She's a sister, she's a friend, she's a COO, she's a producer, and the list goes on and on. Everybody, please welcome Gittens. Oh my God, Nikki! I cannot. First of all, before I even get into the questions, I cannot. First of all, hold on. I have so many things I want to say. First of all, we got to say cheers because this is the first episode of the relaunch, and I feel like the fact that you're here, it means so much to me for so many reasons. So cheers.
I'm so grateful to be here.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Y'all, she's been talking about this and she's taken action. Yes. We're sitting here.
It's been over a year, and I've been saying, like, I wanted you to come and be a part of the episode, one of the episodes, and you're the first one. So
I'm so excited.
Cheers. I love me some wine.
Me too.
Okay, so for people that might not know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh my gosh, yes, of course. Hi, my name is Yanika, but I also go as Nikki. I am a COO. I do creative direction. I do event production. I'm also a sister. I have 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, middle child, also oldest girl, and youngest of the top 3. So I feel I have a lot of dynamic, and that comes out in different areas of my life. But that's pretty much a summary of,
which is great. It's a great way to go into everything I'm getting ready to ask you. So you're a COO. So can you tell us a little bit about you being a COO and what you're a COO for, and how did you get into production and entertainment?
Oh my gosh. So it's actually a crazy story. I am a COO of a live and studio music production company called JB Entertainment, and it's me and my brothers. My 2 older brothers started it way before I was in the picture. And I originally, when we moved here together to LA, we all moved because we wanted to kind of change up our lives, but we were still on our own separate vibes.
Did y'all all move together?
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy because I literally was in Nashville and I'm like, I gotta get out of Nashville. I need some change in my life. I need something to kind of shake up everything. And I knew LA was fast paced to the point where I'm like, it's gonna make me uncomfortable. So I knew I needed to go either there or Miami or Texas, because I knew I wanted somewhere warm.
Yeah.
My brothers were like, we're about to move to LA, and I'm like, okay, let me go visit while they're out there. Went to visit, and in that visit, I was like, okay, I could definitely see myself living here because the weather, the people, it was just more my speed.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, I haven't lived with them since we were growing up. So I'm like, this will be
and I can't wait to get into that. How it
Listen. But so I moved, and I was doing personal training at the time, and I was doing celebrity training and all these different types of things. But I was really on my own thing. I was like, after a year, I'm out of here, not living
out of LA,
out of living with the boys.
Oh, okay,
I was y'all got about a year with me, and we're on our own. That's not how it happens.
Yeah.
And after a year of being here training, I kind of got exposed to different things when it came to different events that I would go to with them. And even just with some of my clients, it was just eye-opening to where I was like, I think I'm dreaming too small and I think I'm living too small. So God, with that, he kind of handled the rest, and it felt like everything was going wrong in my life, and I hit a point where I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
As far as training, you feel like
just everything, literally everything, because I all of my clients at the time gone, just random things happening to them, nothing to do with me or my actual skill of training. It was just random stuff with their family, with their jobs, and I was just like, why is everybody dropping like flies? So I tried to force it and go back into it, and everything was telling me not to do that. So I spent about a year kind of journaling and trying to figure out okay, what's next? And it did not happen in a year. So I really just had to reset. So I kind of hit a low point that was I don't know. It was just if I look at usually when you have vision, you can see all of these things that you want, you could see the direction, and I just saw nothing. And I was like, very overwhelmed because I'm like, I've never been like that. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just start building and see like what if you could pick like what would you want. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we could get into. I don't want to like answer all the questions in one, but I got to the point where I was like, okay, what do I have around me? And in that space, I was like, okay, well, Will's website is absolutely terrible because they hadn't updated it for a while. So I'm like, I know how to build websites. Let me fix it. So I would like fix his website, and then their organization. They're two guys. They're not necessarily going to be the most organized, and that's like my thing. So I was like, let me just kind of provide some kind of structure to where we can like at least have them like moving a little bit more, like
being organized and having structure.
It makes a huge difference. So I started doing that a little bit more, and then I was like, you know what, let me like be a person, because I don't like somebody going to Will to like book him for a show or book him for anything. He shouldn't be the one who's talking rates. There needs to be some separation. So then I started like answering the emails, and I was like, okay, I'm the point of contact. So I just kind of started developing.
That's like kind of like a natural, like it naturally.
It literally fit all of my gifts and all of my like how I just operate. And just the first few years, I didn't call myself a COO because technically I didn't go to school for it, and I'm like, it just the title of it kind of made me feel like I was, imposter syndrome is a thing. So I literally was like, no, you're technically not a COO. And if I were to like meet one, if they're like in the corporate space, they're doing, I'm like,
and you don't even need school now to do
like really. Just thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, girl, you're doing too much. But I just wasn't sure that that's what I wanted to do. So I got to the point where I was like, okay, let me just figure out what kind of role that I want to do in that space, because there is no like handbook. There is no like, okay, you have to be this. It's who do you want to be? So I got to like develop my role in all that they were doing. And now where I am, I have my dream job.
So I wanted to ask you, this is like a real question. Be very honest.
Okay.
Be very honest. How is it working with your brothers? And tell me like 2 pros and 2 cons. Well, we can start with the cons.
Okay. The cons, I would say sometimes it's tough. And I think it also has to do with like being a woman in a majority male space. Sometimes I have to really come with it to not be heard, because they do a lot of
but I know exactly what you're saying.
But on top of like, they're not just like a couple of guys, they're my brothers, and they know me. So it's like we're very close as siblings. So sometimes I feel like the boys, it's not like they gang up on me, but if one has a thought and then the other one, because they're both men, they like align in something, I have to like really like like come with it to get them to just like see things like, my way. But as a woman, I'm very patient in that space. So like, I'm never gonna like force my opinion. You may have to find out, and then you're like, well, Nikki's been saying this for a long time. And they always do a good job of like doing that. So I would say that one is like, it can't even be a con, because it's also pulled a different part of me out that was not there at one point.
It makes you, I feel like because I've been in environments where I'm like the only woman. It makes you more like assertive and like more like, okay, this is what I said. But sometimes you gotta just be like,
I'm like, oh God. But for the most part, that's that. The second one, I would say, that's tough. It really, that would honestly
that's amazing, because a lot of people say don't work with your family. A lot of people say,
before I joined them, everybody was like, this is gonna be a bad idea. Really? Blah, blah, blah. I had a lot of people saying that to me, and I'm like, once I see the vision, I knew it was gonna take a certain amount of sacrifice, and like, because when you're building a business, it takes a lot. So I was like, I'm with my siblings. Like these are my best friends. So I really feel like as long as there's like communication and understanding and like the love, like so I don't really have a ton of cons,
because I'm like, I don't know about working with family. Can you hire me out, baby?
No, I love it.
I wanted to ask you recently produced Solstice Midnight Tide, which was, y'all, it was amazing. We had a great time. What was the vision behind Solstice, and how did you even like come up with the idea? Yeah, like how?
Honestly,
because wait, sorry to cut you off, guys. I worked with you with doing like an activation, and when I was like pitching it to a brand, I didn't know you were the creator of it.
It's so funny.
And I'm over here like, yeah, and then I'm just like, and then I realized and I asked you, how did you come up with Solstice? It was amazing. How did you come up with it?
The Lord.
Yes, tell me more. Tell me.
I feel like the idea was like placed in my head, but it came from like obedience.
Yeah.
Because at the point of we were looking for another show venue because we did a show in April and it was just Will. And his like, I would say our goal was 300 people because we wanted to just get content to like promote more live shows because as artists, the money is not in the streaming.
Yeah, that's what I was just hearing.
All. You don't make money from streams. Like you have to stream millions to make thousands.
That's insane.
It's insane. It's really like robbery.
Yeah.
So live shows is something that a lot of people should get into and needed to get back into. So we're like, okay, how can we get more live shows going? And I'm the person who coordinates everything.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a venue. And the last time I found a venue, it just like, it was the first thing I saw. And I was like, there's no way I can find the venue like straight up. I'm like, you know what? Let me go and ask around. I talked to like 7 different venues. Every single one of them either like didn't respond, was like, sorry, like not interested, or we'll talk to someone. And I was like, that's crazy. So went back to the first one and it ended up being perfect. So I'm kind of looking for that kind of clarity when I'm looking for the venue. We had ended up meeting a guy that owned a production studio at another event that they were performing at. And he was like, yeah, pull up, you could see it. And I'm like, this is LA. This could either be like a creep situation or like something super crazy.
Yeah.
I pull up and it's literally the most insane venue. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even thinking about a show. I was just like going to meet him to see his venue because we just met on some like cool stuff at the thing. He was super cool. So we're like, okay, let me check it out. And he was like, yeah, let's do a show here. And I was like,
oh, he said that?
Huge. Yeah, I was like, this is wow. I didn't want to say no because I didn't want to put a limit on God. Because I'm like, I could literally be like, sorry, we don't.
We can't put a limit on God.
Exactly. And it was heavy in my head. I'm like, okay, I don't want to say no, we can't do a show here because with God, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But it's not something that would make sense for us to get into just with Will. So I went back home. I told Will and Junior, I'm like, look at the space. I'm like, so big. And then we ended up going back to kind of see the venue in action. They had another event. And from that space, I was like, okay, well, we all were like, if we do this show, we have to, it has to be bigger than us. It can't just be the Will Gittens show. We have to like come up with something. So we thought of the artists like right there. We just went with people. Yeah, it just, everything was just like obvious. Literally, it was Eric, Trevor, Will, and Gogo. Those were the only people.
Those were like the top,
the only people? Names, like the first 4 people, the only people. And before we even had anything like planned, we reached out to them. It was like, hey, would you guys be interested in like doing a show together? And they were all like, yeah, like, cool. Without even having any like vision of anything, we just kind of wanted to do a feeler. So I was like, okay, I kind of answered a bunch of questions as to like, I don't want it to be a situation with hype. I don't want people to come because, oh my gosh, this person's name, like, no, I want to go, because it's really like, it started with the focus on independent artists, and my brothers are independent artists, and I see they get the short end of the stick and they have the most talent. They're writing all the songs. That's like where the music is coming from.
Yeah.
They don't get the money to fund it. So I was like, okay, I don't want to focus on hype. I want to focus on actual talent. So authenticity, hospitality, like I'm working with all of those words and all of those things. And then I was just brainstorming. And when I brainstorm, I don't put any limits. I just say all kinds of crazy stuff. And the solstice part came with like, I looked up the word and like what it kind of meant and like, you know, like what kind of energy it would be bringing. And it's just like the changing of a season. Our goal is to like take this thing all over. There's going to be different like themes, different. We want to take it to the islands. We want to take it to Africa. We want to take it to different places around the US. We want to have different genres. It's not limited by genre. So I'm like, I didn't want to limit myself with this first one, but I wanted to kind of do something that would catch people's attention.
Yeah. What was the moment you realized I'm really about to do this? Because I know, and again, I'll have your TikTok and your YouTube and everything because I want people to kind of even see the journey.
Yeah.
Because I remember you doing a video on TikTok and you were like, you have to have a lot of faith and trust in God. When was the moment you're like, okay, we're really, really about to do this? Like, this is happening.
I would say before the first content day.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had So Eric was about to go on tour, and Trevor's filming for Grays. So like their schedules are like already all over the place. So we had to schedule a content day December 4th ish. And we didn't necessarily have all of the details planned out yet because we just wanted to, just in case, get the content so when we start marketing, we don't have to worry about like meeting up again. We just wanted to film all of the artists together because if we're trying to sell the show to people, we have to sell that they already know each other. And we kind of knew that when we went with them, they already have like a relationship already as artists, as people. So we just kind of wanted to kind of highlight that. And the hosts, we had Courtney B and Isaiah J. The perfect host, like literally they were such a huge help to this whole thing, like marketing wise and just with their effort and seeing the vision. But that first content day was when the day before I had a dream, and I like got super overwhelmed because I felt like I was crazy. I was like, I have the vision in my head, and I was like, I know what it's going to be. My brothers see it, the people around me see it, but I'm like, once you start going to other people, then it's like it's almost like I felt like I was lying to everyone because I'm like, come on guys, let's go over here, and I don't have here. Like I don't actually know where I'm taking you, but I know what God told me, and I know it's there.
It's like a faith. That's like a faith move.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, how? And I started getting overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, we're about to schedule the content date and we are going to film them, and now we're using their name, image, and likeness to sell like my idea. And I'm like, that is crazy. What if it goes wrong? And the questions started coming. I'm like, I can't.
Ooh, girl, that's
I can't think like hello. I was like, I do not have the capacity to even think that,
or the time
because it literally it's not going to work. And if I'm like supposed to have faith, I can't have any of those voices. So the night before the content day, I was like, Lord, I don't know what you're gonna do, but you gotta help me, like, please, because this is so scary.
How did you incorporate leadership and faith together? You say?
I would say
because you had to do the logistics, but you still had to have like faith.
I had to be like realistic in some things because it's like money still has to be spent. Like you could say like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, the show's going to sell out. But that was like a tough part where it's like, okay, well, we know that how many people we want and can be in there, but logistically based off of what the tickets are saying, like, how do we do it? And that's a part where I felt crazy because I'm like, God is telling me to put this, but the numbers is telling me this. So I'm like, okay, let me go with what God says, with just listening and being patient to where like, okay, what number do I feel like I'm not limiting him, but I'm also not like putting us in a really ridiculous situation. And I think we did a great job of like kind of figuring out where that is. And it really was treating him like the leader that I was, if that makes sense. Like in the same way I'm like trusting everybody to do their job, I'm like, he is a partner in this whole thing.
I love that.
And like literally I'm praying about everything, every meeting, every like purchase, every single thing. I am consulting him to where it's like, hey, what do I need to do? And once I got the message, I'm like sticking to that. And then however it ends and whatever happens, it's one thing about events and stuff that I've learned over time. You could have your plan, but whatever happens on the day of is what is supposed to happen. You could show up at a venue to do a shoot and the venue don't want you to shoot there, and you're like, okay, well, we have to relocate. Trust it, pivot. The faster you could adjust and figure out a plan, the better. And I think I got really good at like being open to whatever change may happen and then adjusting quick and trusting that this is his plan, not my plan.
Where do you see yourself in, let's say, like 2 years? Like, what is your biggest vision for you? Not for like your brothers, not for anything. For you, what's your vision? Where do you see yourself in like the next 2 to 3 years?
I would say something that I've been wanting more now that I have more like direction and more vision as to what I want for my life is speaking and having a voice. And this is actually this is literally one of the first things that I'm doing that's like in that space, because I feel like when I was going through it, I wanted to, in all of my journaling, I'm like, I want to be a light in between, because in that tunnel it's dark and people avoid the tunnel because they don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's like they try to push it off for some other part in your life. You got to go through the tunnel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I could be a light in between that tunnel of everybody's like transition, then I could like help be like, hey, like you're on the right path. I know it's dark, it's scary,
keep going.
but you see in a little light in that tunnel of like what you can work on and what you could focus on, and then sticking to that all the way through and seeing it through. That was something that I wanted to be, but I didn't know. Every time I would go to like speak on camera or do anything that kind of shares that part of myself, felt like I was like, I didn't have anything to show for it. That was like the voice that was like, well, what do you have to show for it? What do you got to show for it? Where's your proof? And I never really had the proof because I never really put myself out there like that. Woo! So like Solstice was like the first time when I was like, oh shoot, like this was, that was like my proof to myself that I needed to kind of show like, dang, like when I apply myself like this and I trust God like this is what happens. So if I'm like, don't give me a microphone because I'm like ready to just share everything I want to. So in the next few years, I want to kind of like shift my own personal brand, which I've kind of put on the back burner for a while, not because it didn't make sense, but because I needed to reinvent a whole bunch of stuff. I needed to actually like set a foundation of what I have to know what I'm actually influencing people about, and God will give you the influence if my goal is to be used by him and to bring as many people to him as possible. And in order for me to reach the people I need to reach, I need to share my testimony. So however I need to do that in creative ways. I love making content. I love editing my vlogs. I love like just being like a big sister. And like I love being a big sister. So how can I like incorporate all those things and just really, because the world is lost and a lot of young women are lost, and I feel like I would be able to just give them some kind of light in that space. So actually doing that and not second guessing myself and like putting it off, I feel like in the next few years I want to kind of work
I can see you doing that before the next few years. Like I feel like you're already, like you said, this is like the beginning, and I feel like you do that anyway without the camera, so you might as well do it and like incorporate it.
So and I'm a little husband or whatever.
Shit, look. Cheers. Oh, real quick. Okay, wait. Another question, real quick. I'm glad you said that. Because you're so involved with your family's company, with your brothers, how is your dating life, if I can ask?
Oh gosh, that's like one of the biggest questions I get all the time. How do you date? My dating life is like, when I tell you that transition part, like I didn't even know what kind of man I wanted, and I knew all of that stuff stemmed from the type of how I love myself, and like it stems from me. So I needed to kind of fix that before I even was interested in even looking for people. So now that I'm like kind of in that space, people think it's my brothers. It's really just me. Like I don't like, of course, if there's a guy that if we're out, most guys aren't necessarily going to approach me. But half the time when we're out, I don't even see anybody that I'm interested in. So if I were to see somebody I'm interested in, I would probably separate myself from them. And they do that too. Like if they see somebody that we don't like, well, like I'll give you your space, because some people think I'm their wives. Like it's ridiculous. But I think, I don't think it's an issue, but it's really just not a space that I've been in. So now that I'm that space,
are you open
now?
To it now?
Yes, now I'm definitely.
Because I remember we did talk about this. You said you was like,
I was so locked in because I had so much other stuff to figure out, and I feel like now I'm interested in meeting someone that could be like my best friend. That's what I want. I want somebody who I can build like my relationship with, and I want friendship to be at the bottom of that, because you respect your friends. Like I respect my friends so much, and if we don't have that kind of foundation, like I don't want any kind of dynamic. So, and I'm not picky, but I have a high standard. So I'm like, because
what's your 3 top things that you have to have in a man?
You gotta have a relationship with God that shows fruit. Not one you say you going to church, I want to see the fruits of that relationship.
Sometimes that don't even matter.
Hello,
I could go into that. That's a whole nother story.
That's why my mom, she's always like, buy your fruit. Like you look at like the fruit of their relationship with God, what that looks like. I need to see that. A sense of humor is huge. You gotta have a sense of humor. And then
I feel like you're gonna say over 6 feet. Are you gonna say
that's not on my top 3, but it is because I
didn't. That is horrible.
That is no, it is on my top 3. What are you
supposed to be with a short king?
I'm not. He doesn't have it for me.
You gonna block your blessing from your short king?
It's not. I literally, but before, like, I didn't date a short guy, but he was like kind of my height.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I'm like, oh, like my husband can't be short, but for the type of woman I'm working on myself on being and what I'm bringing, I could pick. So if I like, I'm not even gonna, because I'm also not gonna be shallow.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
you want them to be.
I don't do that. I don't settle anywhere else in my life, so I'm not gonna settle for that. So I know what I'm bringing, and I know the type of woman that I am. I know what you're getting, so I'm at least gonna get something. I want a guy I'm attracted to. I want him to look a certain way, like.
But, as you should.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give to women who have a vision but they're afraid to take the risk?
I would say, if you consider yourself a woman of faith, you have to go before you see the final product. So if you have the vision, that's all you need. You know exactly what it looks like. So that vision was placed there for a reason, but you have to actually take the steps without it making sense. And I would say that is the thing that I learned that I didn't understand. And not doing that kept me stagnant for years. And it kept me in a space where I'm like, just very limited. Everything was just a cycle. So in order for God to work, you need to take this step. So if you're unable to take the step, go ask the question, go like set up the meeting, make the call. Like, I'll ask anybody anything. The worst you could say is no. And I'm in the same situation. Yeah. So like, taking those risks and trusting whatever happens is supposed to happen, and it's going to be either a reward or a lesson to get you to the vision. But once you have that vision, girl, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, either you stay where you are or you get somewhere you didn't even know you were going to go. Because you always, like, once God gives you the vision, you could either be like, okay, this is exactly how it's going to look, and it's probably not going to look like that. So that's how you think it's going to look. So just go in and like trust in him to kind of figure it out, but literally don't overthink it.
Right.
Ugh.
This has been so amazing, Nikki. I truly appreciate you so much for being on our first episode with Women with Beauty and Brains. And I wanted to tell you that I'm so proud of you. Just seeing how far you've come, and I already know that God has so much more in store for you. So cheers to you. Cheers to the first episode.
I'm proud of us.
And thank you guys so much for staying tuned. Until next time, peace and love.
Bye.